Welcome to our video of the week. My name is Dan Henderson. It's an absolute pleasure to be back after Tarek did the last few videos. And today we're looking at our kettlebell and some amazing exercises using a staggered stance. So the staggered stance is this awesome in-between between a bilateral and a unilateral stance. It essentially enables you to load one side of the body, in this case one leg, but maintaining balance and stability because it's not 100% of the load. It's about 80% of the load. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you that staggered stance. We're then gonna build the swing, the clean, and the snatch, and then we might even add a gait pattern into the movement as well. All right, so let's take a look at the staggered stance. And so I wanna place a majority of the load on this front leg. That's really where I wanna bear about 80% of the load. Back leg, roughly there about 28%. So here we go. I'm going to go with my swings to start with. All right, so there you have it. There's our staggered stance. You can still see that hip flexion, that hip extension. I really need to ensure that I'm getting that nice hip drive and that terminal hip extension as I'm moving through, but I want to load a majority on this side, and I can tell you straight away that I could just feel my left side lighting up. So if you want to just, attend to any asymmetries, add some instability, the runner's stance or the staggered stance is absolute gold. Now that that's feeling pretty good, I can start to challenge that with some more ballistic dynamic movements. So I'm going to transition from the swing now to the clean. So obviously this is a progression. So the assumption is that you know how to already perform a really good kettlebell swing, a really good kettlebell clean, because this is more challenging. I've got to balance myself a lot more so in this movement. I've got an asymmetry from load on one side of the body. I've got load on the other side of the body. So you've got to be really quite polished with these movements as you're moving through. That's looking pretty good. Your clean technique's exactly the same as if you were in this bilateral stance. We're now going to challenge it even more so with our dynamic snatch. Now that's getting really challenging. I was having to fight myself. You may have even seen me move from one side to the next as I was fighting that instability. So there we have our staggered stance or our sprinter's stance, swing, clean and press. Awesome exercises. Now let's see if we can add a gait pattern to the mix to really add some progression and some coordination in amongst it. All right, so that takes some coordination. You've got that switch as you move through. You've got to catch and then get it on the other side. That's another layer of progression, but I just love this movement. Think about our gait patterns. When we walk, when we jog, when we run, we're spending a lot of the time in a staggered stance or primarily with load on one side of the body. And these movements mimic that absolutely beautifully. If you love this workout, give us some feedback, give us some love on Facebook, like on YouTube, and send us in some feedback. My name is Dan, over to you guys.